Today, I woke up gasping for air, again without my own will. It felt as if someone were pressing down on my chest, making even a single full breath almost impossible. I forced myself to get up. Leaning against the wall, I made my way to the kitchen, and out of habit, swallowed a handful of medicine. When I lifted my head, I saw my reflection in the cupboard. For a moment, it felt as if my breath had stopped. Eyes unfocused. Hair thinning so badly it could no longer be hidden. A face pale and stiff. Breathing shallow and unrelenting. I instinctively knew. My days were numbered. When the doctor first spoke, he said,
"You have about 3 months left."
The words barely reached me, drowned out by the ringing in my ears.
3 months.
They echoed endlessly in my mind. On the way home, everyone around me felt distant. Couples laughing together. Students running with backpacks. Young parents pushing strollers. I was among them, but no longer part of the same world. Honestly, I clung to a foolish hope. Like scenes from TV, I wanted to outlive the doctor's estimate, to somehow overcome this illness, and return to a normal life. But reality had other plans. I was no special person, and the world had no miracles reserved for me. Day by day, the pills multiplied, and my breaths grew shorter. Perhaps the only mercy was this: even if I died, no one would mourn me. My father had left when I was young, and my mother passed away while I was in the military. Since then, I had turned my back on the world. I avoided people, never holding a job for long. No close friends, no family. Even if I quietly disappeared, no one would notice. And somehow, I convinced myself that was easier. That dawn, lost in thought, I glanced at the clock. 4:58 a.m. I had to leave before 5. Ironically, what was more unbearable than my terminal illness, was the noise from the apartment above. Exactly at 5 a.m. it began. Phones vibrating on the floor. A baby crying. Feet running frantically. Doors slamming. The noise reverberated in my head like a drum. Sometimes, I even thought, maybe that noise was killing me faster. So every day, before 5 a.m., I ran out of my apartment. That day was no different. I sat in the cold dawn air at the apartment gazebo. And then, I noticed a woman. A young face. Rushing with a child in her arms. Tired as her face looked, her hands holding the child seemed unshakably strong. For some reason, I followed her. She dropped the child at daycare, and continued on. She arrived at a local bathhouse. Rubber gloves on, bending low to scrub the floors. Pouring cold water, wiping endlessly. Her back never straightened for even a moment. By noon, she moved on. To a restaurant. Sweat-soaked apron, greeting customers, back bent to serve. Non-stop orders, no time to rest. By evening, she was at a convenience store counter. Expressionless as she served, dark shadows under her eyes. All day, I followed her like a shadow. Night fell. Back at the daycare, she came out with her child. Holding the small hand tightly, walking slowly. The child's eyes were half closed, but the hand never let go of the mother's. Watching that, my heart sank. As a child, I resented the world for not having a father. Even holding my mother's hand, I thought it was misfortune. But this woman was clinging to life, fighting to live. That night, I made a decision.
I will try to live again. Just once more.
A few days later, I found a job listing for early morning bathhouse cleaning. Without hesitation, I applied. And there, I met her again. The woman from upstairs. We exchanged surprised looks, and awkward smiles. Working together, I came to know her better. She was warmer and kinder than I imagined. Running to 3 jobs a day, pouring herself into raising a child. Sometimes exhausted, she would stand with her eyes closed for a moment. Yet when her child was mentioned, her face would light up. I realized. The noise I had despised above, was actually someone's life unfolding. I felt ashamed for my cruel thoughts. Time passed, a month went by. Her son now cheerfully called me,
Uncle.
That one word was like a small ray of sunlight in my heart. For the first time, I felt needed by someone. Yet my body had already reached its limit. Breathing grew labored, pain gripped me every night. I knew the end was near. But strangely, though death was frightening, a quiet peace settled in my heart. Because now, there was someone who would grieve me. I reflected on my past. Fatherless, mother gone, I blamed the world for my unhappiness. 40 years locked away, doing nothing. Those years are now a blur. But the last month, I laughed with someone, welcomed the morning for someone else. That brief time was when I truly lived. I leave this letter. I may be insignificant, but if these words can give strength or comfort, if one day they become a spark, fueling a fire, that will be enough. I have little else to leave behind. The last insurance money. Wages from a month of bathhouse cleaning. And this letter. This dawn, I quietly placed them in the upstairs mailbox. At that moment, my labored breathing paused. Finally, I could close my eyes in peace.